Williams veers left, pulls up, looking for the lead, and got it. Jalen Williams, 2 seconds, 1:11, 1:09. Now SGA probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead, and SGA knocks it down. The Thunder finally get the defensive stop, and SGA puts them in front.
I'm Kenrich Williams. You're listening to Topic Thunder.
Yep. Welcome in to another episode of the Topic Thunder podcast. I am not Dylan. I'm your host, Alex, and I am joined by a trio of lovely gentlemen. It is a quad pod today. This podcast is brought to you by betonline.ag. So make sure you check out your betting needs on betonline.ag. But again, I'm joined in by three beautiful gentlemen. From the West Coast, I want to go ahead and bring in our guy Dolan because he only hops on here once every 2 weeks, right on schedule. And so, Dolan, how it be, man?
It'd be okay. I'm a little under the weather. We've got a sickness running rampant through our household, but I've got some warm tea, got a fistful of cough drops on standby, and I've got my handy dandy mute button ready for when I can't hold the coughs in anymore. So I think we're good to go here.
That, my friends, is professional podcasting right there. Mm-hmm. That's we talk about that. All right, joining me from the beautiful state of Nebraska, right? We're back in Nebraska. Yeah, Nebraska. We got Matty Moles back on the podcast. You know, it's like a holiday when he comes on. So, Matty, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Been on paternity leave. That's why I've got all this like fuzz on the face. So it's been a fun month just hanging out with the newborn and wrapping up my bachelor's degree because I was a slacker and waited until it was hard to go to school and finish my degree. But getting that done, and then also on the back end of my military career. So a lot of transition, if you will, for me, but glad to be back. And I'm also I've got the hot beverage to help with my coughs as well.
Nice. It's that time of year, apparently. And then, of course, we got the producer extraordinaire. I'm not going to call you the cockroach connoisseur anymore.
No one does anymore.
No one does anymore. But hey, Tierney, how are you doing, man? What's up?
Great. Yeah. I'm happy for this quad pod. It was a very surprise quad pod. Moles, like you said, it's like a holiday when he comes on. When we always log in, hours.
Yes, nice.
Minutes Salute. Before. Yeah. Moles also has a cold beverage as well as a hot one. But it's always a surprise when Moles is on, and I'm always so delighted to see him and get his takes. And so yeah, I want to hear what he has to say about this Thunder team so far, because we've said a lot over the last month and a half, but we have not heard from him, and I enjoy his takes. So I'm happy for that. But yeah, also excited because we're going cupping, boys. I'm cupping. I hope you all are cupping as well. So we're just cupping out here.
Yep, got my cup on, man. Got my cup on. We're ready cupping. To go. You looking very woodsy, man. Like you look like you're about to go chop some wood and sleep in a tent tonight, man.
I'm changing my style
or like
a little bit.
Truck drive a little bit. Like you're looking good, bro. I like it.
I went to a pop-up shop today, and this hat was from the Big Friendly. I don't know if you can read that, and I really liked it. I've got this jacket a couple weeks ago on Black Friday. I'm just kind of changing my style a little bit and seeing how it sticks. I'm not much of a hat person, but I'm trying to change it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Very Portland vibes.
Yeah, very Portland.
It does.
Very Portland. I agree.
Like Deion Sanders says,
very hipster.
You play good. So
yeah.
It's gonna be a good podcast, boys.
Yeah.
So we are going cupping. We're in Vegas right now. The team's in Vegas, and of course we are. This is the gauntlet of like teams that we hate that we're going through. So we did, we beat Dallas on Tuesday night to get to this point. And so now we're going on to Vegas and we're facing our other hated rivals from the state of Texas. We are facing the Houston Rockets. And so I kind of want to do this maybe single large item style, like maybe things that you guys see that could impact the game. As far as what you're going to be looking for the game on Saturday night. So, let's just hit it individually, each point, each one has a point, and tell us what you think could impact the game or what you think could be the X factor in the game. And so we'll go ahead and start with Matty Moles. We haven't heard from you in a while, so we'll
Moles.
start with you, brother.
Tell us.
Yeah, so taking down the rivals, collecting the Infinity Stones, like
There
with
you
Thanos,
go.
we're gonna snap and take the cup. I'm looking at the big man. I'm looking at Hartenstein and potential foul trouble against Şengün. That last game that we played against them where we lost on the road, that loomed large. Being able to stay out of foul trouble and contain him. I know that not a lot of people on this pod respect Şengün and what he offers, but I think
You've always respected him.
Mhm.
I think he could provide some problems for us if the whistle doesn't favor us. So Hartenstein's proven, especially in the stead of Chet being, sidelined, that he is essential on both ends of the floor. And he provides so many things that maybe the stat sheet doesn't even show. Although I'm sure Dolan's got something somewhere to qualify that. But you got stats for everything. But it's insane to see how different our team is when Hartenstein's off the floor. Sometimes we get quality minutes out of other guys that can step into that 5 role for limited times, but I think we've become very reliant on 5-5 to hold things down in the middle.
Yeah, definitely like those. It's been very advantageous to have Hartenstein in there, but his play since he's been back has kind of masked the fact that our center depth is still very low. Like you literally have Hartenstein and that's it. And whenever he goes to the bench, like you have to play Kenrich, and you hope that Kenrich is doing great. But if he's not doing great, or if he has a game where maybe his age shows a little bit, like you're down to playing J-Dub back at the 5. You're down to maybe playing Dylan Jones at the 5. And so, yeah, our big man depth is still an issue. Like we are salivating the day that Jay Will gets back in the lineup. Apparently, he's been doing a little bit more movement in practice, but we're definitely waiting for that to happen just so we can have a normal big man rotation out there.
Yeah.
Jay Will, by the way, just for an update on that, as much as we just passed 6 weeks since they announced it would be 4 to 6 weeks until we get an update. So that was like a couple of days ago. We got no update. So
It's not good.
Not really sure what's going on there. It's not ideal. They're going to be extra cautious since it's a re-aggravation, but still, we passed the conservative number now and haven't heard anything.
And
it's
we've not heard from Jay Will we've not heard from the team on Jay Will. We've also not heard of any potential update. Like there's been nothing. That's what's concerning.
Well, that's this is very annoying from a fan perspective. I guess I respect it from an organizational perspective or whatever. It's one of those things where the Thunder are like super conservative about things like this, but they have taken it to another level this year. They are giving absolutely no injury updates except for what comes
mode
out on the report they're obligated to file. That is the only information we are getting. It's I don't know.
You won't know. The opposing teams won't know. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. And it's not even like Mark won't even say, maybe another 2 weeks or something. Nothing. He's like, he's progressing well. That's all we get. And, that it would be worrying if that wasn't the case, but we're not going to hear anything about Chet until we see videos of him shooting after practice. That's going to be our update.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like Kenrich. We saw a couple of, hey, he's being sent down to practice with the Blue for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, one game, it was just like, hey, he's available. And he played, 15, 16 minutes in that game. So I'm hoping that is the case with Jay Will, but I'm also hoping for that tweet from Thunder Communications that says, hey, Jay Will has been sent down to the G League to go and practice. And then, 3 hours later, he's recalled back. Still haven't had that. So that's where, to me, that's a little bit worrying because I don't know if they're on the road right now. At the beginning of the season, it was a lot easier to send players down and recall them because the Blue were still kind of like in that preseason mode where they were just, practicing. Now that they're playing, they're actually playing, unless they have a home game and the Thunder have a home game at the same time. You kind of need both teams in the same area. And so hopefully that's more of a situation like that than he's just not ready to go yet.
Yeah, and this isn't that crazy for a hamstring strain. Like Jose Alvarado hurt his, and the very first announcement was out will be reevaluated in 6 weeks. Like they said that right off the bat. And this is a re-aggravation for Jay Will. So like it's not, I don't think this is anything crazy out of the ordinary, but it is just frustrating to get no information.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah. I think the Şengün matchup with Hartenstein, that one I'm not as worried about, because if you went back and looked at that game, he did put up pretty good numbers. I don't think efficiency wise he was great. I thought Hartenstein did pretty fine on him. Obviously you want Chet in that position. We all do. I
actually thought J-Dub did a really good job on him in the little stretch. I think it was in the third quarter. Hartenstein was in foul trouble and J-Dub did it, and he did great.
Yeah. So I think like matchup wise, I'm not as worried about him just from a shooting perspective. I think it's sort of like the pick and roll game that they've been doing. And with Fred VanVleet, that to me is the more troubling option, and how they're going to potentially, potentially match up on that and sort of counter what they can do in those sort of schemes. It all kind of comes down to as to whether he or FVV is going to shoot as well as they did. Fred VanVleet went nuclear the last time he played us. So that is something that, if it happens again, it's going to happen again, whatever. You can't really predict those type of things. But I think also looking big picture, something the more this game has been closing in on Saturday evening, the more I've been growing confident in this game, because if you go look back at this Rockets game, that's a game I think we win more often than we do not, because of all the different situations that happened leading up to the end of that fourth quarter. It was a very weird fourth quarter with a lot of officiating that really slowed the game down, really got it out of rhythm. It was a Dylan Brooks last ditch mid-range shot that
it was 2 shots.
It was 2 shots, but it was that one. It was that one that kind of
where Hartenstein got a stop.
He got a stop.
That's what happened on that possession.
Yeah,
he got a stop, and then Şengün was sitting on the ground with the ball.
And it was a very crazy play. It was a very crazy play, and it was a crazy offensive rebound. It was a crazy shot by Dylan Brooks that 9 out of 10 times you don't think is going to happen. It was a Fred VanVleet, like 40-foot three that went in. There was so much that had to happen.
It was like
and the Thunder
jump balls, and I think the Rockets won all of them.
Yeah, it was the jump balls. There was so much that happened in that fourth quarter that if that even splits 50-50, that is a Thunder win, because they were in the lead pretty often in that fourth quarter, even up to the final minutes of that game. It was just such a crazy game that we look back now and we're like, we want revenge on the Rockets. We want to avenge this loss. But that loss in and of itself was not one that I think, if you simulated that game 100 times, I think well more than half the time, that's going to break in the Thunder's direction. So that's more of a big picture thing. But again, going back to the matchup with
What's your item?
That's my item. Is the big.
Go ahead, yeah, roll with it.
That's my item, is the big picture. That's what I came in with, because I went back and looked and kind of watched our breakdown of that game, and I was just remembering how much happened in this game. That was crazy. That's my single large item, is that I don't think the crazy stuff's going to happen. I think the officiating is going to be fine. there were so many weird officiating calls in this game too. The like the Lou Dort flagrant foul on Şengün that like he hit his face, but it was like obviously not meant to be a intentional foul. There was the jump
and the Shea got hit in the
ball.
face.
Shea got hit in the face.
Or it was not on the and one.
There was the jump ball with Dylan Brooks and Shea that took way too long to figure out what happened when it was very obvious it was just a jump ball. There was just so much weird stuff in that game that threw off the rhythm. That's not going to happen, I believe, in this NBA game. I think they're going to have I hope they're going to have good officiating. So I think that's my single large item is I think we're going to win, but I think we're going to win because I think we were the better team in that first game. And we just, it was a scheduled loss too, because of, and this is just to throw on another thing, that was on the end of a West Coast road game where we were on the road in the West Coast for 4 games, which we won all those games, by the way, and then lost the very last one. Yeah. So a lot was against us in this first matchup.
It's the caveat of the caveat. Like, it's, all that happened, and then this is the 4th game.
There was
on the
so
road.
Much.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, definitely. Like so we've played the Rockets twice already this season. Mm-hmm. That was, that's recency bias. That's the one we remember. But the one before that was basically a blowout win for the Thunder. That is the game where, Chet was in there. He was completely dominant. Our defense was stripping the Rockets a lot in the first half of that game. And just basically we built up a lead in the first half and it was completely over after that. So I think the Thunder go into this game, and I think it's more of a game that looked like the first one we played against the Rockets and not the second one. I think we're going to come in a lot more rested. I think we're going to come in a lot more prepared. Mark and his staff have a lot of time to go ahead and game plan for them. And I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and jump into my single large item. I think we're seeing the complete and utter emergence of MVP Shea. I'm going to go ahead and take Dylan's, what he would say. But I think that, so I looked up the numbers. And so over the last 11 games, so ever since he did his career high, he's been averaging 33.1 points, 5 rebounds, 6.4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. He's shooting 53% from the floor, 38% from 3, 84% from the line. And he's shooting 7 attempts from 3. This is where we say those random against the Toronto Raptors 1 for 10 3-point shooting nights. This is where they help you because throughout this 11 game streak, he's been shooting 31% on 7 attempts. This is what we want from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And what you're seeing defenses have to shift out more and have to contest the shot more. And that helps him even more in what is the bread and butter and the strength of his game is to drive in and to do his damage from the inside. And so I think that even though Houston, a lot like the Pelicans, have defenders that hypothetically should be able to defend Shai at a high level, Tari Eason, Amen Thompson, I still think that Shai is just on another level right now. He's on another plane, and it's not going to matter. Like, we went out there against Dallas and he had 37 points, 38 points. I think he could have had 46, 47. Like, I think it was just that kind of night for him.
Yeah.
And so I think he's been on a tear over the last 10, 11 games. And I think that's going to continue. And, we may be seeing this could be like, if the NBA is smart and if Milwaukee makes it past Atlanta and we make it past Houston, like, you should be pointing the narrative towards 2 MVP candidates going against each other in Giannis and SGA. Like, that should be the narrative. That should be the thing that the NBA is focusing in on if they really want to focus in on their players. Because let me tell you, they've been doing a shitty job on focusing on the Thunder this season. And, I think they're starting to notice that. And then today we got the news that they flexed 2 games in January. Yeah. And so the Thunder are going to be on national TV 2 more times, both times against Cleveland. And so I think that the NBA is starting to notice. I think they know they made a mistake by not including the Thunder in the Christmas slate of games. But I do think that Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, is performing at a high level, probably the highest level that we've seen in his career right now. And that is a scary thing for the NBA.
Yeah, the games are January 8th and 16th against the Cavs. The first one is in Cleveland. Second one's at home. So coming up pretty quick too. So nice to see a couple of national TV games pretty quick. Yeah, I want to give Moles and Dolan a shot at Shea. I just want to throw that in there before they jumped in.
Yeah, Dolan's large item.
Yeah, Dolan, what's your large
Oh,
item?
okay. I'm sorry. I thought y'all were going to talk about Shea.
I mean, I don't know.
I think you covered Shea pretty well. Yeah, he's on another level right now. If it wasn't for Jokic shooting 50% from three right now, I think we would have like a very serious MVP debate on our hands. As of right now, the Thunder, like by all the models, are projected to win something like 13 to 14 more games than the Nuggets. So like if Jokic just comes back down to earth a little bit, I think Shea will get him on record if the season finishes as projected.
The schedule of the team, the record of the team in the MVP battle only matters for the Thunder and Westbrook. That's it.
Right.
It doesn't matter for anybody else.
And I think it's like when Westbrook won the MVP, he was the 6th seed. That's true. I don't think the Nuggets would be the 6th seed, but it's like really hard to tell because the 2 through the like 9 are going to be so tightly condensed within like a couple wins of each other, probably at the end of this. But I think the gap in wins is going to be meaningful because Westbrook only won 8 fewer games than Harden that year. And Harden they weren't even the 1 seed. They were the 3 seed. So like Kawhi was up there as the 1 seed. He came in 3rd in the MVP. He was, kind of an afterthought in that debate. But Westbrook versus Harden, it was the 3 seed versus the 6 seed. It was 55 wins versus 47. But if we're looking at this and it's the 1 seed versus the 5 seed and a 13 win gap, like I think that is meaningful to the voters. I think it will matter. Now it's going to have to be close for that to be like a tiebreaker or something. But yeah, I think it will matter if it is.
Denver's the 6th seed as of now with the win over the Clippers, which also knocked the Clippers into lottery territory. So that was fun.
Nice.
The Clippers are 1 game ahead of like the 12 seed right now.
Love to see that.
God, man, they so need to go like on a 3-game losing streak. Like just give me 3 games and just get down past, down into 10-11 territory and I'll be okay with that.
They've got it's tough. I don't know. They have enough talent to not be that, but they might be.
Well, they just can't score. I mean, if Norman Powell isn't like lighting it up, they just can't score.
Yeah, but they have they had the potential to be great defensively. Like
they're very
Derrick
good.
Jones, Derrick Jones Jr., Ibaka Zubac. So Dolan, don't want to skip over you, man. You just muted yourself to cough, so you're ready to go. What is your single large?
He's ready to go.
Well, I thought I was gonna like come in hot and be the voice
hot,
of lack of reason.
Coming in hot, boys.
But you guys are so confident too. Now I feel like I'm just like one of the gang, which is great. Mm-hmm. But so my single large item was going to be like I am not worried about this game, and I've reached a point with this team this season. Like, I mean, you guys have probably seen me on the timeline just like shouting at the basketball gods about the injuries. Like, I do not care. I am so confident in this team. I am just like I'm not saying the basketball gods don't exist, to be clear. I'm pretty sports superstitious, or at least a little stitious, right? But I don't think they can do it. Like, I don't think they can like stop this team. This team is too good.
They tried.
I'm not jinxing it. You tried. You gave it your best shot.
Mm-hmm.
We made it. Still the 1 seed, 19-5, historically good net rating. I think it would be the best since like the Jordan Bulls. Second best defense like since the merger. Right now, Chet's coming back in like 30-ish games. Like you gave it the old college try, basketball gods. I appreciate the effort, but you couldn't do it. and I'm sure that's embarrassing for you.
We need it.
Father Time's undefeated. You are not. So I'm sorry about that.
I think we need to knock on wood.
But I will
Dolan
not, I will not
just
knock on wood.
keeps
I'm
on
not
No,
gonna-
you need to
tempting the
knock on
gods.
wood. Please knock on
I'm gonna do
wood.
it.
Dolan,
Yeah,
proof
I'm
of
gonna
wood,
do it.
please.
Sure, whatever. I'm not going to do it.
Please, proof of wood.
And I'm not worried about jinxing this game either. Like under by 19. It's going to be 24, but then like our garbage time always sucks every time. So like it'll get down to 19. It's going to be a little annoying.
Oh, I'm so annoyed
If
when
you
it's
look right
19.
now, we have like the 8th offense. If you take garbage time out on PvP, it's the 4th offense, number 1 defense still. So like this team, they're 16-2 when they have any center, any large human in there. So
Yeah, and
like,
the two games that they lost were
And
the Shell Shock Warrior game when they lost Chet.
well, no, that I'm not counting that one because we
Oh, you're not
lost
counting that.
like halfway through the first quarter.
And then
So it's
Houston game.
the 2 that we lost are the Nuggets game where Russ went
yes.
crazy and went 3 for 4 from 3 and scored like 29 points.
Mm,
And then the Fred VanVleet game where he had 38.
the one
And
that we just
it's
talked
like-
about, yeah.
It's like those kinds of things are going to happen over the course of an 82 game season, but it's going to take something like that for this
Yeah.
team to lose. And it's just probably not going to happen. So like I just roll into these games so confident now.
It's great that the playoffs are 7-game series because that just means we're not going to win 7. That just means we're not going to lose 4 games out of 7 because we're only losing 2 out of 18 with our
I
full
mean,
lineup.
like with what we have to throw at other teams defensively, we don't have the same limitations that we had against Dallas in that series. Like you're not going to destroy us from the corner and be able to go lob city anytime you want.
Right.
Because if we need to, we'll run 2 bigs. If not, we can run small, and we have all these perimeter guys that can just swing around. And it's pretty awesome to watch our defense when they're locked in. And then we turn teams over so much and get out in the open court and score in transition. And that just like further helps us get going. But I'm really excited to see us. Some people are like, man, they're shooting too many threes. I'm like, but they're all good shots. And I'm glad that Coach Dagnall said that, hey, they're good shots. They're just not going in.
They're making
I
more.
want us to take
Up
those
to
shots.
6th in the league. 6th in the league in attempts right now.
And they're not forced. They're within the like scope of our offense. It's very natural how that flow. Every once in a while, I guess Shea hunts a few, but like overall, it's I couldn't be happier with the shot selection.
Yeah, I had their shooting up from the last 10 games, and I'm pretty sure they were like second in 3-pointers made from above the break or something like that. I need to double check, but
Yeah. The
Like,
percentages
their volume is great.
fine. Their
Yeah.
percentages have just been like middle of the road, which after last year they were the best shooting team in the league. We know that, but they only took wide open threes
Yeah.
across the board, and Shea was taking none. And I just think it's better that Shea's taking more, even if the percentage is lower, and even if his relative lower percentage is knocking down the team percentage some. And it's not just him. Like Isaiah Joe's shooting a lower percentage. Obviously, Aaron Wiggins is, and his attempts are a little bit up. Caruso, yeah, and Kaysen came out shooting terribly to start the year. But if we can be like, instead of whatever we were last year, the first 3-point shooting team and like 20th in attempts, I think, something like that. If we can instead be 15th in attempts and 6th in attempts and 15th in percentage, like I think that'll go up to maybe 10th in percentage. I will take that gladly for what it does to the court.
Yeah, completely stretches it out.
And you've seen Shea's numbers on 2s this year, right? Like he's killing
Amazing.
it inside the arc. This is not a coincidence that he's shooting more 3s and that he's killing it inside the arc. People are having to play him differently on screens and on ISOs. He has more space.
Mm. And not just that, like the player next to him, Jalen Williams is shooting 40% from 3. And so that threat is even more maximized because you do have your secondary playmaker, your secondary scorer right next to you, that he's also a 40% 3-point shooter. He's even more of a threat than basically almost anybody on the team. And he's forcing the defense to come out even more. And so for a guy like Shea, for a guy like Dub, for the different players on this team, AJ Mitchell, that like to drive into the basket, like to live, as drivers, it just helps this team out so much more. And then it causes the defense to rotate. We find open shooters, and then we get those open looks that we're not making them. We will eventually start to make them. We will eventually, that percentage will start to go up. Like it's gone up since the beginning of the season. And it's working. Like, that's all I can really say about when people look at, us shooting so many threes and us missing a lot of threes, because when you shoot a lot of threes, you're going to miss a lot of threes. But that efficiency, the payout from the decreased efficiency from those shots is so much better for this team. And it makes us so much better as far as offensively, and we become more dynamic as a team. That's what I've been seeing. The beginning of the season was a struggle offensively, and we were so great defensively, and we were still winning by 20 points. Like, when the offense started to come up, if the defense stayed where it was, we were going to start blowing out teams, and that's kind of what we're seeing now.
I've got a
And it's
question.
a similar concept, like team wide, as with one player, right? If you have a guy who shoots 45% on threes, but he's only going to take 3 in a game, the defense will still ignore him. Because what's the worst case scenario? He makes all 3, and then it's like, oh, that's mildly inconvenient for us, right? That's the same with the Thunder last year, where it's like, oh, they're going to shoot 40%, but they're only going to take 31. So, like, whatever, like, we can survive that. That's not going to make us not pack the paint and put everybody inside to keep Shea from getting to the rim, because most of their shots are trying to come in there.
Yeah, they sacrificed it. They sacrificed the corners.
Absolutely. We saw in that last Dallas game, the Thunder took 53s because the Mavs were packing the paint and being like, well, these guys won't shoot enough threes to make it matter. And they did. And they won the game in part.
And it mattered.
Because they took 50 and they made 20.
I have a question analytically, because this is like a chicken or the egg type of thing. The free throw disparity has been a narrative, or been a point of contention all season. Coach even alluded to that, with how many free throws the Mavericks were able to shoot against the Grizzlies in just the fourth quarter, hammering that home. I know when you drive to the basket, you draw more contact, you tend to get to the line more, but that hasn't worked for us. I know if you're shooting more threes, you're not producing enough opportunities for those free throws to happen. But if you're going in and you're shooting a shot in the paint and getting fouled, that's also a highly inefficient shot, right? Because you're not going to be able to go to the line. It's going to be a miss.
They don't call the foul.
So is it more advantageous for us to just shoot an open 3 than try to drive into the lane, knowing that we're not getting the benefit of the whistle this year? Dolan, I think you have a different take than most of Thunder Twitter.
3 points is better than 2.
I would argue the regression is going to eventually fall back to the mean. That's my take on it. Like, I don't believe that the reason we're not getting the fouls is because the refs hate the Thunder. I think we're just not getting calls right now. I think we're eventually going to get back to the mean, and to stop going against the schemes we've been going with, which have worked. I mean, Shea has been getting the free throw. It's everyone but Shea that we need to worry about, because Shea's been getting free throws. His free throw rate is pretty on par with what it was last season.
Yeah.
So it's really everybody else. If you believe that they can get eventually the whistle, then you need to keep doing it. And I think they can, at least in terms of Dub and like maybe Dort. I think that whistle will come.
So my question for that has always, like, I'm always one to, like, when a ref does a crappy call, to call them out on it. But when it comes to the disparity thing, I understand, like, Shea is getting enough calls to, like, okay, he's still getting calls, but outside of Dub, who else is driving to the basket? Like, I think we're shooting more threes.
Not really anybody.
Yeah, not really anybody. And so, like, this whole free throw disparity thing, like, yes, we lead the league in drives because we have SGA. And it's nobody else other than that. Like, Dub, drives in a little bit, but I don't understand. Like, I get it. And it's great gamesmanship by Mark, but outside of Shea, and maybe Dub, I don't see anybody driving to the paint and getting fouled.
Right. That's kind of my thing. And first off, when we talk about free throw disparity, there are two parts of that equation, right? The other part is how many free throws the other team is getting.
Right.
And we foul a lot. That's just the fact of the matter. When you're trying to take the ball away as often as the Thunder do, when you're trying to get 20 steals in a game, every time the other team drives in, their hands are in the cookie jar. They're reaching, swiping, clawing, like digging down. They're triple teaming post players, like especially when there's no center in, right? They're just swarming and trying to take the ball away. They foul a lot. And that's just kind of what it is on that end. I don't think there's ever going to be a situation where we don't have a discrepancy against us, because we are going to continue fouling a lot. It's going to pay for itself in fast break points, and that's fine. The other side of the coin, though, obviously, is Thunder getting fouled. Like you guys have mentioned, I think Shea's getting a fine whistle. Of course, I think he should get more calls, of course. I do think Dub gets a fairly bad whistle, although his free throws per game have like doubled since Hartenstein came. I think he has a little bit of trouble with his first step getting around his guy, but with the screen, it's like a lot easier. I think that's helped him a lot, and I think that'll continue to get better. But to Alex's point, we do have other guys who drive. I mean, Kaysen and Dort attack, but if there's somebody at the rim, they just like swerve out and kick it out. Especially Dort this year, which I think we all love. Like, he's not forcing up bad shots. He's turning around and kicking it out now. It's helping his percentages. It's making everything look smoother. That's great. Kaysen's tiny. Like, Wiggins is pretty small, and he's not all that athletic. Isaiah Joe isn't like, attacking people at the rim all that often. He does one every once in a while, and it's like, oh my God, what just happened? Because it's so shocking. So it's like we have all these guys who drive, but they don't do it to attack the rim. And when they do attack the rim, they're small, and the defense can just like kind of play it honest and not foul. So like, I think Dub should be getting some more fouls. Hartenstein also, he likes that floater. You're never going to draw a foul on that floater.
You're not.
So like, Dubs might go up. Chet's going to help. When Chet comes back, he's going to be drawing 6 or 7 fouls a game, and that's great. But until that happens, like, I think this just kind of might be the way it is, and it's two pieces of it, right? But I think they're both more or less real.
Dolan, you're usually not a name dropper or a name messer upper. Why do you call him Hartenstein? It's Hartenstein.
Oh, did I say Steen? My bad.
Oh my goodness.
You sound like an ESPN analyst.
Yeah. No, that's just a slip up. I know it's Hartenstein. It's like Frankenstein. I know.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So I feel like we're hopping from subject to subject to subject. I kind of want to put a cap on the Houston game. So I do want to hear your predictions. I think Dolan said 19, Thunder win.
19. But it's
19.
24.
Yeah, it's going to suck when we win by 19, though.
Before 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, whenever Mark empties the bench.
We're not going to score for we're going to get like 2 points the rest of the game.
It's going to suck.
Gotcha. Okay,
yeah.
So 19 still to finish the game, but at one point in the fourth quarter, we'll be up by 24. Gotcha.
24, right.
Tierney, what you got?
Go to Moles first. I have a game we're going to end with, too.
Wow. Okay. Matty Moles.
OKC by 4.
Oh, you
like
want
it.
the close variety game. You want the clutch.
I don't.
In there.
Right.
I don't want that.
Do you mean 24?
No. I would love the 24. I would love to be able to go do other things partially during the fourth quarter if I have to, but that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
OKC by 4 half dozens.
4 half dozens.
By 4 score.
There you go. All right. What's the game?
Top 3, top 5, or top 10. I was looking up shooting breakdown earlier. Above the break threes. Hold
on. Time out. Before you get started on your game, does your game have anything to do with your prediction?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Duh, dude.
We'll see how
Hello?
this circles back, but go ahead.
Top 3, top 5, or top 10 above the break threes field goals made the last 10 games. Are the Thunder top 3, top 5, or top 10?
Top 5.
I think you said they were top 5 earlier.
Top 3.
They're top 5. I don't know if I said it or not, but I did, I guess. Top 3, top 5, or top
No.
10?
Okay. I figured this game out.
Yeah. Top 3, top 5, or top 10 mid-range field goals made.
Top 3. Ooh, that's
Last
just
10
it's
games.
just it's last 10 games. Oh, that's we're top 3.
Top
10.
3.
We're fourth.
Ooh,
So top 5.
split the
I
difference.
would, but that's also top 10.
Steven
Oh,
gets a
I figured
point.
the game out.
half
They're all
half
top
off.
10.
Steven
So-
gets a point. Top 3, top 5, or top 10 in the paint non-restricted area.
Top 10.
In the paint, non-restricted area.
Top
Top
5.
10.
Top 5 because Hartenstein likes
The
that
push
floater.
shot.
The last 10 games we were second.
Oh,
Wow.
Yay. So Steven
Interesting.
gets the least amount of points because he was being a scaredy cat and not saying top
I'm gonna get
3.
a point every time though.
Get a point every time, though. And finally, top 3, top 5, or top 10 restricted area field goals made.
We're top 10.
Top 10.
Top 5.
Top 20.
We are 26th. Nobody gets a point. I just wanted to throw that one in there.
I was
Hey,
closest.
Oh, you didn't add D, none of the above.
None of the above. So yeah,
so that was
in the
restricted
paint.
area.
in the paint,
Yeah.
non-restricted area, mid-range, and above the break threes are
But
the
not
3
restricted
right
area.
now that they are most hitting on
Yeah,
in the last 10 games. So
makes sense.
Just wanted to
Restricted or
throw
not
that out there.
restricted area. Is that what? So we haven't really been getting to the rim in the last 10 games.
No.
Is what you're saying.
Mm-mm.
no, which is
Interesting.
is a point to note. But like the rim protection of the Rockets, I don't really worry about either. So I don't know if that's
Say his
Oh.
name.
I'm not going Şengün. I will say because I don't. He's not Voldemort in any respect.
Oh, oh God.
So just to put a bow on that and the Rockets preview, yeah, the Thunder I think are easily going to win this game. The more I think of this, and this worries me because like I mentioned at the beginning of the pod, like the more I think about it, the more I'm convinced that the Thunder are going to win this game, and that might be a problem. But I'm gonna
No, it's not.
continue to
problem.
say Thunder by freaking 20, I guess 24, because that's what Dolan said.
You
But
can't do that. No, you can't do that.
oh, sorry, 21.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Okay.
Thunder by 11.
Ooh.
Just a random number in between
What's
all
this?
y'all's.
The spread
Man, I
is
can't-
what?
I
5
can't
and a
five
half?
believe
and a
how
half.
badly you think our garbage time is going to go.
That garbage
I
time is
know.
pretty bad.
It's
You ask
Mind
me.
you, we're gonna be up by 30 at some point. in this
Dylan
game.
Jones is going to have a bad game, according to Alex Roy.
OKC opened as 4.5 favorites. They are now 5.5 favorites.
Ah,
To let you know
Interesting.
where the
I need to know where
money's
the,
going.
the good money's going. though.
because Dolan spoke. Watch out now.
I'm gonna check,
So-
I'm gonna check where the money goes.
Do you see Kendrick Perkins thinks we're going to win the whole thing?
No,
him and Chuck.
That's not good.
That was so
Yeah.
funny when Chuck was talking about that. Like, OKC's would have been waiting for your ass. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
love it.
All right.
With any
So
other team, I would think that's a lot of stacked jinxes, but not this one.
yeah, not this one.
Hmm.
So that was our game. There is another game on the other side of the bracket, the Eastern Conference Cup semifinals. And so we have Atlanta versus Milwaukee.
Hmm.
Let me know what y'all think. Who do you
Way
think
too
comes
early.
out of that? What
I
do you mean way
think there
too
was a
early?
lot
The
made
game
of
is way
the
too
ticket
early.
prices plummeting because of the matchups.
Yeah,
And I just want to say, I think it's their fault.
it is.
I think it's the East's fault.
The East, the East
Get
part
better
too.
Yeah.
teams. Recruit
I'm
better
already gonna-
teams.
Trying to see the completely middle of the pack Atlanta Hawks play.
I mean, here's my thing. Like, I think the only team in the Eastern Conference that would generate any kind of buzz would be Boston.
The Knicks.
Because,
The Knicks would too.
and the
Well,
Knicks. And the Knicks.
Yeah, just based on market.
Yeah, Boston and Knicks. I'm sorry, Boston and Knicks. And it just is based off of market. But like as far as like I want to see that team, there's like Milwaukee's boring. They may have Giannis, they're boring. Atlanta, they have Trey. And old
as hell.
Atlanta has Trey, and Trey is electrifying some games. He is great. Only when he plays in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, he has to play against the Knicks. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how he does in Vegas. We'll see if this is a Halliburton situation from last year where the Pacers come in and they wreck shop in Vegas and they make it all the way to the finals. But it's just the Eastern Conference teams are just boring. They're just boring outside of those two teams. And so as much, they got the early time slot, not the prime time slot. Who do y'all think comes out of this? Is there any way? Okay, is there any way Atlanta comes out of it?
No, I don't think so. I think
They could. It's single elimination. Anything can happen in a single elimination game except the Thunder losing.
Yeah, exactly.
True that.
The Bucks don't have a very good perimeter defense, so I could see like Trey doing okay. I don't know.
It's true because it's going to be like Gary Trent.
Yeah, and the matchup that is there for the Hawks in some ways. I don't know.
They have nobody that can guard Giannis.
They don't have anyone that could guard Giannis. Yeah, there's some weird matchups there. I don't know. There's a reason it's a 3:30 game. It's just it's not great. The Atlanta Hawks, mind you, were in the Atlanta Hawks tier of my NBA tier list at the beginning
that
of the
is
season.
true.
We have no idea how they are. So I
think we nailed that.
We did. I thought looking back, I was pretty right about that tier list. They're just the freaking Atlanta Hawks. I don't know what to make of them. So I don't know. I'm gonna probably lean the Bucks because it's just a more fun matchup for the Thunder.
No, they don't.
They don't. But I just want a better game for the Thunder.
I will say this.
They're like, if we lose, we get 4 days off.
Hello.
Yeah. I will say this. I think narrative-wise, a Bucks Thunder matchup would be the best scenario for the NBA, I think.
Well, except they have to fit Gilgeous-Alexander and Antetokounmpo.
A lot of letters.
Well, I mean, you could always just do SGA versus Giannis. That's how they're going to call them.
I want the full last names.
Yeah.
We need that.
So narrative-wise, I think the NBA
12-point font.
Aesthetically pleasing basketball-wise, I think I would want Atlanta versus OKC. I just think it would make for a funner, more up and down game versus Milwaukee. I don't know.
I think here's what I think. I think if the Thunder, they beat the Mavs, that's a very respectable win. It wasn't in Vegas yet. The Rockets are really good, but they're the new kids on the block. They're the up and comers. They're not like established. If the Thunder go Rockets, Hawks in the
too
cup,
many red teams,
we're gonna have to deal with Mickey Mouse Cup allegations.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
nobody is gonna take that serious. If the Thunder go Mavs, Rockets, Giannis, I think you can people will be like, you know what? And also that's a pretty legit win that they had there.
Yeah.
And I think the Thunder would win that one by 17 before garbage time. So I'll take
12.
The Bucks.
So actually
just
12
because for legitimacy,
Okay.
Okay. So we want the Bucks.
I think there is a way the Hawks can win. A guy with maybe one of the best nicknames in the NBA, the Great Barrier Thief, Dyson Daniels.
I love that. That.
He is crushing it this year.
It's crazy. Steals.
Whoever came up with that nickname,
who was it? It was what's his name?
I don't know, but props to you.
It was great.
Oh my God, what's it?
He is unlocking a lot for that defense for Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they could get to Giannis, far enough away from the basket, they could present some problems for him, at least force him to reset. Maybe force Dame into shooting, crazy shots. Like if Dame's hitting, okay. But OKC and Milwaukee are both 8-2 in their last 10. They're both playing really good basketball right now.
I bet Milwaukee hasn't played.
Larry
anybody,
Nance,
though.
thank you, T.
I haven't
That
even
was gonna
looked.
bug me
But
so
they're in
much.
the Eastern Conference. I bet they played like the Wizards and the Pistons.
Pistons could catch some people every once in a while this year. But I don't care either way who we play, but I think that I think it will be Milwaukee.
Okay.
And who knows where that goes.
Wait, let me they beat the Magic with nobody, right? The Magic without everybody. They beat the Nets. They lost to the Celtics. They lost to the Hawks by 15. They beat the Pistons. They beat the Wizards.
That's
Heat,
pretty good.
the Hornets.
Okay.
They
Shout out
beat the Hornets,
Micic.
the Pacers, and the Bulls.
Shout
Yeah,
out Giddy.
This is garbage. No, that's a fake 8-2. That's an East Conference 8-2.
An East 8-2.
That's
You can only play the teams in front of you.
Pretty
Is that
disrespectful to
Micic?
Micic.
Is that as fake as neck height? That's as
Yeah.
fake as neck height.
So I will say
Long
that
neck 8-2.
I forgot about the Dame thing, like the history with us and Damian Lillard, and him basically being the impetus that started this rebuild and got us to this point now.
Really for the
And
better.
so- definitely for the better. But I mean, it would be kind of come full circle and win a championship in front of Dame's face, and we get to hoist a cup in front of his face. So that would be a great thing also.
Yeah. Some revenge.
Yeah, so let's go. Thunder, Bucks.
Thunder Bucks. I'm for it.
Let's go. I'm for it.
By 12.
So the real question then is, do we hang a banner?
Yes, we will be hanging a banner.
The Lakers hung a banner. Now
A
everybody-
banger banner.
A banger banner.
Up for debate.
We're hanging a banner.
And I mean, I think it's going to be an awesome looking banner. You put like the NBA Cup, the
It's
little
sexy.
trophy looks cool.
It's pretty.
Yeah, it
sexy.
is very sexy. So I think
They
we're going
should
to have a
make
sexy
it
banner.
like it should be like that. Like put a little handle on it.
A little cup.
Look like, what is that? Like Indiana Jones? Like just the
A
like,
chalice.
non-flashy one is the actual. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to just be that cup that Steven showed. Just that orange cup. That's our trophy.
That would be great. It is Thunder color. It's a Thunder orange. We'll go with that.
Just an orange coffee cup.
But shout out to the NBA for implementing this, because I was skeptical, but I think it's been
It's
pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah.
It is very cool.
Unless
And I
we
think-
lose. And then
Then shit.
Whatever.
it never matters.
Who cares about the cup? But we're cupping right now.
Yeah, we're gonna make fun of the team that actually puts a banner up. Like
We're cupping.
fake ass.
I'm
champions,
cupping.
dude.
You're cupping. We're all cupping.
It's a good thing that we're not actually having to wear cups, and Draymond Green's not going to be in this
Mhm.
game. So
He's not. He got beat. So I was gonna do something All-Star related, but
Let's do it Tuesday.
let's do that too. Well, we're gonna be talking about the Cup Tuesday because it's right after the game.
Yeah.
Next Friday.
Let's do it Friday. Let's do it next
Yeah,
Friday.
next Friday.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about?
You guys need
Excited
to
for
bring
tomorrow.
like go to the kitchen and find like your coolest cup to like be drinking out of
On
after
Tuesday?
the next on the next podcast. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I almost bought one at the pop-up shops I was at where I got this hat, and I almost got a cool cup, and I didn't.
You keep on talking about this pop-up shop. Where is it?
It's in Midtown.
It's
Mm.
it's already gone.
It's gone. It popped and it's gone.
It popped down.
No, it's in
Great-
Midtown. It's
Grady
it's-
Garrett. Yes, 2 championships in the same year. That is no. We'll have a championship in 24 and then a championship in 25. This
Yeah.
The
season.
pop-up shop's right behind you.
Yeah,
Whoa.
watch out.
No, it's a pop-up shop in Midtown. Happens every Christmas. They have like Christmas trees that you can buy too. It's pretty cool. It's very local stores. that,
Shop local, baby. Shop local.
Yeah. So if you're in Oklahoma City, it's on 10th and It's on 10th Street in downtown OKC, so you won't miss it.
We do not advertise unless they pay.
No, there's like 15 stores. It's not you can find it. It's in the middle of downtown, so it's a cool place. Yeah, I don't have any cool cups, is what I'm trying to say.
Hey, so Christmas is coming up. You know, it'd be a great present for Christmas. Thunder tickets,
Alex. Wow,
Thunder tickets. And do you know
what game?
What game specifically would be great?
A bug?
Yeah,
your bug mascot.
Maybe around March 21st.
That's really specific.
Against the Charlotte Hornets and our beloved former
Buzz's building
teammate, Trey Mann and Micic. Yeah, man.
LaMelo Ball's been cool this year.
He has.
He will be back probably.
Miles Bridges has not beat a female this year, so that's
okay.
That
was weird. That's cut. I don't know why we just threw that in there. Okay,
Miller's been crushing it too.
Miller's been crushing it.
Yeah. So March 21st is our 3rd annual fan event, and tickets are still available. We have tickets in multiple sections around the building, lower bowl, upper section. Different price ranges. So if you can't afford the lower bowl, we have options up top that are a little bit cheaper. But beautiful thing about the Paycom Center is that no seat in the house is a bad seat. And so you'll be able to,
unless you get the one right behind Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, unless you get that one seat behind Chet. We promise it won't be that seat. We promise it won't be that one. But yeah, we have tickets available in multiple areas. And it would make a great Christmas present for a loved one who loves the Thunder and would love to come visit us if they listen to our podcast or if they watch us on YouTube. So please make sure.
Do we still get to do all the festivities after the game as well?
Yes. We get to meet up at half court. You get to shoot one shot for the possibility of winning a team signed basketball. It used to be courtside seats, but since the Thunder are good now, all the rich yahoos like to keep those seats now. And so they no longer have that. So they have a basketball signed by all the players. And that's, to me, that would be even better than courtside.
Valuable long term.
Yeah, especially when they win the championship, you will literally have a championship ball in your house. So you get the opportunity to do that. And you get the opportunity to take a big picture with us. Every year it grows. First year we started off, we had like 70 people. Last year we had like 100, 120. This year we're shooting for 150, maybe even more. So please come out. Let's have a great time. It makes for a great present. And honestly, you could get it and you don't have to wait for anything to come in. You could literally just get it, print off the tickets, and that's a great stocking stuffer right there. So that is on our Twitter feed. It is the pinned tweet at the top of our feed. So you just have to click there and get those tickets.
At OKC Topic Thunder.
Can I just say
at OKC Topic Thunder?
I've been updating Dylan on like by percentage, like what my percentage chance is of coming, like every couple weeks, and it's starting to heat up a little bit, guys. The last number I gave him was 62%.
That's much higher than I expected.
Let's go
there, guys.
But we'll talk off air on the cutoff date for this when I need to know. I need to know soon.
So according to Dylan, there's one person in his group who had to back out. So there is just a dangling ticket. A solo dangling ticket. So my window is open.
Steve.
Dylan.
So
Steve, do not tempt us like this.
Practicing your half court shots, because I'm gonna
I've already been starting.
I'm making that shot.
I was in the gym practicing my half court shots the other day, right before I got schooled by some high schoolers on a 3-on-3 matchup that I let you all know about. But I did sink a couple of half court shots. I did a couple.
Dolan, if you show up, I may give you my shot. So now
I won't need your shot. I don't need your
If Dolan shows up, I may give him my half court shot. I'm
that's
up for debate.
That just made my day, man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
62%. and
Hopefully that
climb
percentage
in,
62%.
gets up
folks.
seven
Almost
more
nice.
percentage points. Almost nice. Yes. very
Dolan
much
never
so.
seen before in Oklahoma by
Yeah.
many of
I
you.
haven't hooped in a while, so I'm gonna have to like get into shape so I can
Dude,
come
you're
to-
like 8'3". Like you'll
I'm
be
so
okay.
sore from hooping the other day.
You're like Oliver Rio off of in Florida.
but it's the explosive movements. I feel like I might just get out there and pop
bad.
Achilles on the first.
Yeah, it's the injuries you got to worry
I'm gonna
about.
have to
You-
get
you-
into shape a little bit.
You'll never be able to go back to another fan event if that happens. So
Yeah.
stay your ass on the bench.
Well, I mean, Dylan gets hurt every time he steps on
His
a
nose, he just spontaneously
just-
combusts.
I think at this point, as soon as he books his trip to Oklahoma City, his nose
He's
starts
injured.
bleeding.
He
So.
just starts bleeding.
It's just his body knows. It's like, please do not do this again.
Oh, the abuse. Oh, the abuse. Well, hey, that's awesome. I'm glad to end this podcast on a bright note, on a positive note. It's almost like 62% is great. Like if Shea was shooting 62% from three, like
Mhm.
the world would be burning right now. So hopefully the next time we talk to you, we are talking about an NBA Cup championship. Dolan would say
Maybe
that
like
we are
Saturday
definitely
night,
talking
too.
about, we are definitely talking about an NBA
We
Cup
do.
championship. Who knows? Maybe we might log on
I do.
Saturday if it happens to be a great game. Maybe for the YouTube. But other than that, man, I have nothing else. I'm excited for the game tomorrow. I know you guys are excited, and
Mhm.
excited for the final on Tuesday. So I am not very good at ending the podcast. I forget what Dylan says. What does he usually say? Yeah, God bless. Hoop while you can.